It's not you, it's me. Nice selfieing. Is it real or is it Memorex? Alright, now I'm ascending. And I used to ride up this hill pretty quick. Anyway, I was just checking the times to go back and be back downtown by like 4:30. And there's a 38R in about an hour or so. So I might do a fair amount of hiking. I might go up to Sutro Heights. And I might actually take the coastal trail a little ways because it's a beautiful trail and it's a beautiful day for it. There's Ocean Beach. You know, only a few people at the beach. Nice and cool, nice and foggy. Looks like the sun's kind of trying to break through, but I don't think it's going to make it. You know, these rocks. People can climb around the rocks, feel like they've accomplished something. And no surfers right here, but if you want to watch surfers on a nice sunny day when there's good waves, whatever those are, this is where you see a lot of them. The other place where you see them is towards the end of that coastal going to sort of closer to the Golden Gate Sea Cliff. I think they call it Dead Man's over there, but it's pretty amazing what they do, man. I mean, they're like way down at the bottom of this cliff and like catching these currents that are going in and out of the Golden Gate and the waves on those currents. So they're pretty badass for sure. Much respect, much love, much love. Super chill, super chill. Let's keep it chill, like to a pre, you know? And I am ascending. I'm gonna go around on foot. And I guess they're doing some construction. I guess they're gonna have a new iteration of the cliff house at some point soon. So that'll be good. Because whatever's here, if they get a good restaurant operation going here, I mean, it's a gold mine. It's a beautiful tourist attraction, and it makes everybody feel all warm and fuzzy inside when you can have a table, have some seafood, and wine and dine with a uninterrupted view of the vastness and the beauty of the Pacific Ocean. It'd be cool if they put up a board or something showing their plans for it, but I don't know if there are any plans for it. I always thought this present iteration just kind of looked like the back. They put the back of the building in front and the front of the building in back. But yeah, that was the main entrance last time. But this was always a cool spot to, actually I never ate there, but cab driver, I used to pick people up here. And then, you know, when you're out here gallivanting around, it was an easy bathroom stop. And then there's another restaurant that was here that's defunct, unfortunately. Release with the Parks Department, I think of the feds. This is part of GGNRA, Golden Gate National Recreation Area, federal park. And so don't be smoking weed out here. At least don't get caught, because they don't play. But this, of course, is the remnant of Sutro baths, and it's a big public bathhouse. Of course, when it was open, it was public. If you had the complexion for the connection, if you know what I'm saying, like they weren't like allowing the brothers in, you know, which is, I guess, a characteristic of its time. And here we have the beautiful Monterey cypress, and this whole place was really well redeveloped probably about 20 years ago now, because before there was a small parking lot up here, and then it was just like there was a trail, but it was just like this entrance that was just covered by bushes and you couldn't really see anything. But they cleaned it up a lot and made this landscaping, so that was amazing. And it's still a great place. So they expanded this parking lot up here. They put in a visitor center, which is nice because it has a public bathroom, so you don't have to like go, go in the bushes, especially if you're a woman, And so this red building right here, now I'm gonna get chastised, but I think it was Louis or Luz, I can't remember. I think it was Louis. And back in 2000, well, when I was driving cab, 2006-ish, I got these customers, these two ladies. They were spinsters, and they were about 80 years old. One was a little older, like 82 and 80, something like that. And they lived at Potrero and 16th. And when they were little girls, their dad was a businessman, and he helped start this restaurant in the 30s. He gave them the money to start the restaurant. It was Greeks. Greeks are the diner people. And they were Greek sisters named Papas. And every Sunday I used to pick them up and take them out to the Greek church on Brotherhood Way from Potrero and 16th, where they had grown up. They'd lived there all their lives on Potrero between, 16th and 17th, and where the bar called Il Pirata is now, used to be a general store. And that's where their dad met their mom when he was a kid and she was a kid. And he would go shopping there, and their family owned a bunch of real estate around there. And then back then you would have credit, and you would pay the bill once a month. So he'd go in there and go shopping for the family when he was a kid, and his dad, I guess, would pay the bill. And their mom was working in there for her family, and she was a pretty young girl, and he was a pretty young boy. Well, he was apparently he was a pretty brave guy. He every time there was some flare-up or war between Greece and Turkey, he would suit up and jump on a steamship and run over to Greece to fight. And then they had a militia in San Francisco. That was like the Greek militia in San Francisco. And so anyway, these two sisters, I used to take them to Brotherhood Way and to their Greek church out there every Sunday morning. I'd pick them up around 9:30 and load them in, and they were so sweet. And they used to tell me all these stories about growing up in San Francisco in the 20s. I think they were born in around 1920, and so they tell me about all the schools and how the trolleys worked with the tickets and going to the theater. They used to go to the movie theater back then. The Golden Gate or whatever, Golden Gate in Taylor was a movie theater. But back then, when you went to the movies, they had live entertainment before the movie. They would feature like the movie stars and famous singers would come out and perform live. Like going to the movies was a big deal. They told me they saw Frank Sinatra there. They saw a bunch of movie stars there when there were movies there. And well, they wouldn't have been kids with Frank Sinatra, but they did say they saw him there. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was a great experience. And for, I guess at least like 6-7 years, I drove them every Sunday until I quit. And one of them ended up in a nursing home on the peninsula, and I just kind of lost touch with them, unfortunately. But it was one of those things. One day I picked up the newspaper. I was house sitting for my friend, and he had a newspaper subscription, so I used to have my coffee and read his Chronicle. And for some reason that day I opened it up, and I never usually would, but for some reason that day I opened up the obituaries page, and I saw one of the sisters, Christina Pappas. I saw her obituary. That was how I learned that she had passed away. And I don't know, the other sister would be 106 by now, so I'm sure she must have passed away quite a while ago. But sometimes I would go eating with them. We became kind of friends, and we used to go out to eat. We went to, in West Portal, Cafe Spiazzo. And then a couple times we went to Original Joe's when it was still on Taylor. One time they went with me and my mom. You know, I introduced him to my mom, and we all went to have lunch at Original Joe's. My mom used to like to have like all the weird stuff on the menu, like sweetbreads and that type of thing. But they were great ladies. They taught me a lot. They were very nice. It was a great part of driving cab, was taking care of people like that and learning so much, you know, about the city and history of it, what life used to be like here, and what life is still like here. Because look, this is life here. It's amazing. Monterey cypress, native trees. But I think they're what do you call them? They're part of, oh geez, hold on.